So you're here to learn a very interesting, somewhat new attack strategy viable at Town Hall 10, aka the Frozen Dragon. Well, this guide has got you covered. So Frozen Dragon is something that you guys may have seen at Town Hall 12, and obviously it is definitely viable there. Maybe not super viable, but it is still viable. But have you ever thought about using the Frozen Dragon at Town Hall 10? And that is really where you can really take advantage of different base designs. This attack strategy should be treated like a Frozen Witch or a Frozen P.E.K.K.A. attack. So specifically with this attack strategy is with like any non-bat spell dragon attack, specifically like the Zapquake, you need a way to get rid of the air defenses. So if we take a look at this base design as an example, all the air defenses are towards the outside of the base. We can get rid of this one with just a few loons and a haste. Sometimes you guys may have done that as a way to lure out the CC at Town Hall 9. So that's definitely a good option there in order to get rid of an air defense, especially if it's close to the outside. Another way of dealing with an air defense is through a Sui hero. And like in this example, there will be a Sui hero right here to get rid of that air defense. Now, there are going to be 2 air defenses left. How are we going to deal with them? With freeze spells. We have 8 free spells in the spell composition. This is really where you can take advantage of a lot of different base designs and how they're set up. Another thing that you'll notice from the base design is that the CC is lurable, meaning that even if you set in some loons there and out-popped a baby dragon and witch, then you can actually still lure that out and deal with it later on in the attack as the dragons move through. With this attack strategy, there's a lot of different things, and one of the most critical aspects of this is the air defenses. And from this example, we can say that we can get rid of these air defenses here. This only leaves us this part of the base. Now, what are we going to do with the freeze spells? So we're going to use the freeze spells on things such as air defenses. We're also going to use them on air sweepers, multi-infernos, expos, and the queen. There's a lot of different things there, and also including the CC if you do decide, or if you do see that. However, those dots that I have placed there, they could be a little bit harder, but they're all really important because with this attack strategy, you want to get as much freeze value from the base, whether it be very compact, like right here, or, a little bit more spaced out. So you want to try and get as much freeze value as possible. So as we go through the video, you guys will understand this. But obviously, take my word, I don't know too much about this attack strategy, but I want to kind of explain it to you guys from what I've seen. This is a 100% something that I haven't seen before, but 100% it is going to be viable here at Town Hall 10. So I encourage that you guys give it a try. It's really strong. If you guys have tried Perfect Storm or the Zapquake attack strategy with the dragons, then you can definitely tell that this attack will also be viable with dragons since it is using it in a different way. So just remember to treat this like a Frozen P.E.K.K.A. or a Frozen Witch. There are limits, or they're not really as many limits as like a Frozen Witch are, where, air or multi-infernos need to be in a straight line. This is really just getting as much value as possible from the Sui hero and getting rid of at least 1 or 2 air defenses at most, and then dealing with the rest of the base. And we're going to see some examples of fighting the air sweepers as well, and also possibly dealing with the CC. So in terms of this, notice how the freeze spells here are being used not only over one structure sometimes, but over multiple. So in terms of this, yeah, the attacker is definitely placing them over the cannon, but it's not really worth it because you're freezing over defenses and trying to keep everything alive. So another good part here is freezing up the air sweeper and the multi-inferno, both of them at the same time. This then gives you a lot more value with your freeze. Notice that in this CC, you can bring an Electro Dragon, and the Electro Dragon is not a bad CC to bring. Since this base design was pretty compact, it's a good idea to take a look at the base design, see if you want to bring loons in the Wall Wrecker, or the Stone Slammer, or if you want to bring an Electro Dragon. I would say bring an Electro Dragon if the base itself is really compact, and then bring loons if it's a little bit more spread. So that's sort of the idea that I want to kind of address to you guys. So definitely feel free to kind of change up with your army composition in the CC. But other than that, this attack strategy, as you can tell, is very viable. But we're going to give you guys some extra reasons why this strategy is still considered viable. Because this is something that's brand new from what I've seen, and definitely something that you guys should really be trying out. So let's go ahead and take a look at another one. Here we go. We've got another example for you guys, and obviously taking a look at this base design here, definitely a lot different than the other one. So you notice that it's more of in an L shape. But not only this, but let's take a look at where the air defenses are placed. This is going to be specifically our Sui hero. Notice that the air defenses are really close together on both sides of the base here. But specifically where we want to enter in to get value from, it seems like a good area is right there. Because we can send the king in, kill the enemy king. We don't have to worry about the enemy king with the queen. And then the queen can walk and get really easy value. Notice that there's only like a cannon and archer tower there. Really not too much protecting those two air defenses. Meaning we can get a solid funnel set, and we can also set up getting rid of those two air defenses. That's huge with this attack. And another thing is, if we kind of enter into the base from here, we can freeze up the multi-infernos, we can freeze up the air defenses, the air sweepers, and notice that in terms of where we're entering, there is an air sweeper there that is going to be pushing us back slightly, meaning that we will have to be fighting that air sweeper. Now, it's going to determine based on the army composition whether you're seeing a CC. I would encourage you guys bring a poison at least with this to deal with the CC, since, you know, you want to have the dragons under rage and dealing with the CC fairly quickly, especially if they're like a little bit swarms like skeletons. But obviously, you really want to try and be able to deal with the CC and also deal with just entering into the base, dealing with the air defenses. That's why you got the free spells. So in this example, 9 free spells instead of 8. So obviously, the other one was bringing in a poison. You don't have to bring a poison, but it is encouraged. I just say you got to deal with the CC somehow, and a lot of people are going to ask me that. So deal with the CC by using a poison. Now, another thing, just a quick reminder, the queen is going to be walking into this area. Easy CC lure. I think before anything, try to take a look at where you want to get value and see if your queen or even your king or whatnot will lure the CC out. It's not a bad idea. Since, obviously, a base design like this, you really can't use an Electro Dragon on. So, obviously, using loons and the Stone Slimer is a good idea. So, bringing in a poison to deal with the CC is going to be huge. So, obviously, there's a lot of different things to talk about, but with this attack, I can say this, it is definitely really strong, and I would encourage you guys to give it a try. I'm going to say that constantly through this video. Definitely give it a try. Let me know if it works in the comments, and hopefully that this guide kind of gets you into the idea of how you guys can use it. I'm not perfect, so obviously this attack strategy will not work on every single base design. However, find the right base design. Try to get 1 or 2 air defenses. It's really not going to be that hard, especially if you guys are in those random spins and you're seeing a lot of those common base designs. This can still work fairly well. So you just got to really consider and take a look at the base design and try and take a look at different aspects of the base in order to take down different things. So that's really one of your main priorities with an attack strategy like this. So as the dragons move through, you want to try and set the funnel, which is huge. So maybe have 1 dragon and maybe a loon there. But then you have the Stone Slimer going in, making sure that it makes its way in to go with the dragons. Freezing up the multi-inferno, you can see that freeze value there. Freezing up the air sweeper and also freezing up the inferno and the the air defense. That's value there. That's what you're looking for. Notice that loons are now being popped into here. Why is that? Well, the base itself is not compact. It can defend the Electro Dragon, which means that what you would want to do in this case is you want to be able to use your free spells over those specific defenses and try to keep your loons up as long as possible. In terms of an Electro Dragon, it would just be going in with your dragons, so you'd be fine. But when it's loons, you want to try and make sure that you use the free spells to protect them. So this means putting them over Archer Towers, Teslas, and also Wizard Towers. Those are all going to be huge in this case. But obviously you can see it's another 3-star, and it's another nice attack to showcase here. But not only that, let's go ahead and show you guys another example of why this attack is successful. So in terms of this base design here, let's go over just a few things to kind of really wrap up this entire video. But to give you guys another clear example, we take a look at this base design, and obviously we can tell from our entry point, which is obviously going to be right here. Well, how do we know where the entry point's going to be? Well, we want to try and charge into the air defenses. We want to try and get rid of air defenses because we don't want to go in from a side like this where it doesn't have any air defenses. Why go into that area that doesn't have any air defenses? Yay, it doesn't have any, but air defenses will be picking off the dragons and the loons and even the stone slimer just because they are far away from the dragon's entry point, and since they have a bigger radius, obviously they're going to be sniping down the dragons, and that can really spell trouble. So in terms of this, like with any dragon attack, get rid of the air defenses. You gotta get rid of them. Even if that means charging into them, because what you want is you want the dragons to stay alive. That's why you want to charge into air defenses rather than going away from them. It could really spell trouble in the back end of the base. So in terms of this, let's take a look at this base. So obviously, one thing is we can get rid of this air defense here, but that's all we can get. So we're going to keep 3 air defenses alive. But not only this, but if we also take a look at the range of the Multi-Inferno here, we can see that we can actually pick off one of the walls here. Since there are no expos, there are no cannons nearby, we can take advantage of this, let the queen do her thing, and take out that Multi-Inferno. This then also leaves us like this. It means that now we have easy pathing through the base since it's now been slightly more narrowed than before. So obviously I kind of messed up there. But like this, it's slightly more narrowed, and obviously you now have the dragons to move through. All that needs to be done is setting the funnel on either side with the king, probably the royal ghost if you have access to it prior to this recording, and just, being able to smash into the base. Remember that you do have a rage spell. So obviously what you're doing with the rage is you want to try and get as much value as possible with that first initial rage to move them into the base. Now obviously all of these CCs, all the enemy CCs that you saw in this were obviously not damaged, but that's why you need to bring a poison spell. This one only has 8 free spells, meaning that it is highly likely that you should be bringing a poison with this to deal with the enemy CC. Obviously, I wish I could have shown an example of this strategy dealing with the damage CCs, but obviously I just didn't have access to them. So obviously, you really want to try and make sure to bring a poison just so that then you can deal with the enemy CC, whether it be a damage or something like that. Notice that that would have been really good freeze value with the Teslas and the Inferno. Lots of good value. Notice that in terms of this, free spells are being dropped on more than one structure. So this is air defenses, expos, archer towers, the queen, the air sweepers, even wizard towers, and multi-infernos. So those are all huge. Any air targeting defense, try and freeze up, but don't just go all willy-nilly with the freeze. Make sure what you're doing is you're freezing up correctly as you go through the base. Now, in this case, the loons were being used. Why should loons be used instead of an Electro Dragon on this base design? Specifically, the loons were used because having that quantity allowed you to use the haste on the back end of that base, also on the air defense. Because you don't want the air defense to start picking off onto the Electro Dragon that can't target it. Rather, Using loons, they'll get to that air defense with the haste after taking out another structure. Since there are multiple loons, it's going to take multiple hits in order to get rid of all of those loons from that Stone Slammer out. So that, guys, is a comprehensive guide on how you guys can use this new viable attack at Town Hall 10, which is Frozen Dragon. I highly encourage you guys to try it out. Let me know in the comments below if you guys want to see another video on this, or if you guys want to see a base identification video on dragons, and I will bring that to you guys. Also, feel free to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you guys don't miss any of my uploads. Also, feel free to go ahead and join the Elite Academy Discord server. I'll be leaving a link down in the description if you guys are looking to join them. Also, feel free to join my community Discord, and also follow me on Twitter at CorruptYT. With that being said, that's going to do it, guys, for the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I'll be seeing you guys next time. Corrupt, signing out.